Hi, my name is Jeremy Smith with the Point Practice Putter.
I'm Kevin Smith with the Point Practice Putter.
Today we're going to do a segment. We're going to be introducing segments on some frequently asked questions. Today we're going to do a segment on how an instructor can use the Point Practice Putter, whether it's an instructor or a golf coach, but how you can work with a student. My brother Kevin is going to be playing the role of the student today. We're initially going to start out, and I'm going to define kind of our work area. As you can see, we're doing this from our home, which is something we kind of recommend. We don't feel that you necessarily need to be on a putting green to work with the point. Your home will do just fine. We've basically set up a mat. We use it for a lot of practice with the point. And what the mat is able to tell us, it defines our target line, which can certainly help. And this mat also has grain in it, so it's going to show the path of all the putts we hit, which is also beneficial because you can hit 3 or 4 putts and you can define kind of your tendencies. Also, you notice all of our golf balls are striped golf balls. That means they have a red circle around the golf ball. I'll basically go to some of our illustrations that you can also see on the website. And the reason why we believe that you should go with the striped golf ball, for us, it breaks the golf ball down into different quadrants. We like to define the golf ball in 3 different quadrants. We have the back of the golf ball, the inside of the golf ball, and the outside of the golf ball. Why this is important is the striking surface on the point is 1/8 of an inch. If we're able to strike the back of the golf ball with the point, it is going to propel the ball end over end. You'll see the scribe ball roll end over end. The line will down your intended target line. If you happen to strike the inside portion of the golf ball, it is always going to send the golf ball to the right. Conversely, if you strike the golf ball on the outside, it is going to send it to the left. This is very much like the full swing. Very important to define what part of the golf ball you are hitting. We're going to go into our segment now where I'm going to have Kevin go ahead and hit a couple of putts. Very important to make sure when you're working with your student that they use their normal motion. Sometimes we found that people, when they see that the striking surface is only 1/8 of an inch, it restricts their putting stroke. You know, much like the alligator arm theory. They feel they only want to bring it back, you know, a 1/2 inch so that they could have some success. So it's very important to go with your normal motion. So I'm going to step out of the way and I'm going to have Kevin go ahead and hit 3 putts, and then we're going to talk about the feedback. So Kevin has just struck 3 putts. First one, as we can see from the line, stayed very close to the line, which is exactly what we're looking for. You know, we're trying to hone that repeatable stroke, that repeatable motion that gets the ball traveling down his target line. As you can see, the other 2 headed acutely in different directions off of the mat. This was 3 putts. You know, typically, when practicing with the Point Practice Putter, you're going to find that you have one tendency. You'll find that you tend to miss one way predominantly more than the other. I have a tendency to miss to the right when I haven't been practicing. What questions do you have, Kevin?
Well, I think I too have a tendency to miss to the right, and for the most part, I feel that it relates a lot to ball position and my path. My path wants, my putter face is wanting to swing to the inside. And if I don't try and keep the nice thing about the track putting mat is it allows you to have the white line, your center line, to keep you chasing your putter face down the line as opposed to letting it get inside too quick.
Yeah, we certainly realize that there's a lot of different different paths out there. I think as instructors, why I'm going to stand behind Kevin is, I'm always looking for an acceptable path. There's, we've seen through experience going to the PGA Merchandise Show, working with some college coaches and players, that, everyone has their tendencies, but we like to make sure that the path of the putter, that it's at least square 2 inches before and 2 inches after impact. We've seen some paths that the paths that seem to work the most off of the target line tend to produce the most acute changes in direction of the golf ball.
Yeah, and even the players who prescribe to the arcing stroke, this putter works for that as well. There is no doubt that at some point, in even an arcing stroke, that your club face better be squared to the target.
Yeah, it's simply going to define where you are at impact.
Yes. And for them, it's all about ball position. If they're hitting on the inside of the golf ball, that more than likely means that the ball is too far back in their stance.
Yeah, and like I said, this is instruction. When you're working with a student, it is instruction. You want your student to be able to leave the session with an understanding of what his tendency is. And we've had a lot of players before us that one thing I always say is you can't be afraid of the feedback with this thing, because it is very common that we've seen some people that have those acute putts, the ones that want to head off the mat very quick. And in a matter of a couple of strokes, they're able to start, I guess, reining in that cone, which is a big thing that we believe. And I've said this to Kevin. A goal for any player, or some players, could be simply to stay on the putting mat, to have a session where they hit 20 putts or however they may want to hit, and try to keep it on the mat. As you continue to put in some work with the point, you're going to find this to become a lot easier. And when you transition over into your normal putter, that's when you really start to see the results.
Yeah, you go from an 1/8 of an inch striking surface that you practice with to go into roughly 5 times that striking surface on your regular putter.
Yeah, and there's nothing, again, talking about that feedback, there's nothing worse than probably, we realize that putting is essentially 45% of the strokes that you're going to make on the golf course. Majority of players struggle with it, even tour players struggle with it. The data shows that putting has been pretty flat throughout the last 30 years. It's easy to define when you look at the PGA Tour. The ones that win are the ones that putt well. So if you're not a great putter, sometimes you don't know you're not a great putter because you pick up anything within 10 feet. But if you're not a great putter, you shouldn't be afraid to get feedback that says that that something is going wrong with your stroke. It was kind of what turned me initially on to this product, was because I wasn't a good putter, and it told me I had something going wrong with my stroke that I needed to fix, and I was able to do that.
And one of the big differences between the point practice putter and the other training aids that are out there is that we are not a restrictive device. This stroke, you make your own stroke. It's not dictated to you by a string, a line, metal, piece of wood. This is your stroke.
That's why that one segment that we talked about, at the beginning when I had Kevin hit some golf balls, it's so important to tell them, show me your motion, show me the putting stroke you bring with you every day, because we don't want to see anything else, and it's not going to do you any justice if you're trying to manipulate.
The only way to be natural is to be natural. You can't teach natural to somebody. They need to do it themselves.
Well, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the segment.